anything in it?
Well, if you could
Sure.
do some, and I'll try to do some, and then we can, if you don't have one person to do it.
Are you, ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. We have to 1 minute, 30 seconds. You know, we have 2 more minutes, I'm always slow.
That's a quick thing.
You saved your seat.
Just a minute.
Front center.
Okay,
Oh,
6 o'clock. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Ashland Town Budget Committee meeting. Let's take a minute to show that all the committee members are present. Now at the time for public comments, I would ask that when you stand up, you just say who you are, because I can't put names and faces, and for the record, it's nice to have at least a name. Try to limit your comments to 5 minutes, and if someone else has said something that you're going to say, don't feel the need to repeat it, because time is of the essence for everybody this late, but that doesn't restrict you from not saying it. So with that, I'll open the floor for public comments. Yes, ma'am.
I was just wondering if, and this is getting ahead of itself a little bit, but anyway, I'm Neil. If this budget passes, is it gonna cause the mill rate to go up?
Tammy, can you?
It may go up, I'm just not 100% sure how much is going to go up yet, because we do not have the proper number for the school payments or the county tax, and we don't get those until about May. So the estimate for those two is just an estimate, we don't know what those are gonna be. Okay? If this total budget passes, it'll probably be an increase, I'm just not sure how much yet, okay?
Anybody else?
Chuck Driscoll. Is this the actual budget you're taking to the vote?
No, sir. This is, so the budget committee meets, we talk about it, we say whether we agree or disagree, if there's any, if we want the town staff to go back and sharpen their pencil, and then the council's gonna see it in a couple of weeks, and we'll meet with the council. So this is really the first time anybody that, other than staff, has looked at it, and so the budget committee will look at that, and, you know, I know we have some things we wanna say about it. I do, I'm sure the other committee members want to. And you'll have more chances to address the council, you have a chance to address the council at a later date before the budget goes to town. So yeah, this is just a first look. So if you've had a chance to look, if you have any comments, we'll take those comments. If you have any comments later, the council meets
Next Tuesday.
next Tuesday.
Is this the first time you guys looked at the budget also?
This is the first time we formally looked at the budget, yes.
I strongly suggest we look at the $200,000 increase on the police department.
Okay. All right. Yes, yes, sir. Good. Anyone else? Okay, if there are no more comments, we'll go ahead and go with the meeting. What I would suggest is go through each of these sheets. And not this sheet, because these sheets are the more detailed sheets, if that's okay. And then, however the committee wants to do, if you want to go, we'll just start. And if you have any questions, let's try to start at the top of the block. And if you have something as we go down, we'll go down individually unless you have something. So, general government expenses, up 4.5%. You can see what the drivers are. Comments?
So the council stipends, do those come out of the salary? Or where do we see council? The council gets paid to come to each meeting, right?
Yep.
Right.
That is on the other,
That's
Right.
on the other
expense.
one.
Right, other expenses, yeah.
Your Blue Cross,
Mhm.
how much do you pay for a person with Blue Cross here?
The Blue Cross has just gone up, and it went up 9% this year. And it's due to the increase on prescriptions, is what we were told. And what we pay for a single plan is $12.90. But the town also pays a part of a family plan or a spouse, that's the 75%. And that was approved, in January of 2021.
So they get a full single,
They get a full single,
plus if they choose to put their spouse or a child or
or family, whatever.
whatever it is,
The
that
town pays.
75% of that is also paid by the town.
75%?
Pardon me?
You said 75%?
75%. It's the difference between a single plan and a family plan. And then it takes the 75%, and then after that is what the employee has to pay.
So you have, how many people in the office that take insurance? So you have 4 people, but really 3.5.
There's one that takes a spouse, there is, 2 that takes a single plan, and we left the town manager position as it was in 2024, and the town manager's position, got full family payment.
That number just seems to be high, I understand, I have to figure it out.
Any other questions, comments on general government expenses?
And so the only, if I'm going to ask a question,
That's fine.
the only salary person in the office is the town manager?
That is correct,
Everybody else is an hour?
that is correct. And we left the town manager as it was in 2024.
So, and it's based on 40 hours a week?
Yes.
So the department manager treasurer, which is you,
Yeah.
it changed names from the years prior when it was just treasurer, and there's an increase from 67,000 to 75,000.
Yes.
Yes. Actually, it's 65, that was budgeted last year.
A $10,000 increase. Is that comparable with other towns for that position? I know 2 years ago, Sear called around
Right.
for that position. I should have brought the paper from 2 years ago, but I didn't. Nowhere near $75,000.
Well, this person is wearing 3 hats, deputy manager,
Right now.
slash treasurer, slash,
Right now.
what's the third one? Tax collector.
Are those additional jobs that she just got?
Say
Or
again?
those additional jobs that she just took on this last year?
The council approved, promoting, Tammy in, November timeframe. And the promotion was predicated on first keeping all 3 positions.
So
The
what are
the additional duties are the additional duties of a deputy town manager.
So what are the
So
other
the
2
public,
people?
so the public comment period is over, sorry.
Oh,
This
you
is
can't
not,
say anything
no,
now?
ma'am. No, this is
Crazy.
going
Okay.
to, but it's a business meeting and we need to get through the business. And so what I would suggest is if you have comments or questions, write them down. And you can contact the staff, tomorrow and they can either answer the questions or not. That's how we get through the business meeting.
So this one is just a piddly thing, that you have $250 in advertising, but you're not gonna put $250 for advertising this year.
Right, because everything this year all went in the contract services because of all of the ads that we had to put out, so, yeah. And trying to take $250 is not enough to put
No,
an ad in.
no, but I was wondering why you're taking it out, because I know how much it costs to put an ad in the paper.
Any other comments, questions, concerns? If not, can we move on to highway department? And one of the key drivers here is the loss of full-time employees.
Just one question here. Over on the right-hand side, you have your foreman, your highway one, and then it says building maintenance, I would assume.
Yes.
Why would that be in salary?
The building maintenance, I had recommended or made a suggestion to Kevin. He took it to the council, because when Lendl gets done,
Wait,
Lendl.
just for clarification, that's an individual doing building maintenance,
Yeah.
right?
Building.
It's not building
Okay,
maintenance,
because I'm
so it's
wondering why
probably,
building maintenance should be included in
Right,
in
yeah,
salary.
yeah.
And technically, it should have been a separate line. It should have been the highway 2, should have been 0, and then the building maintenance should have been a separate line.
But we're anticipating having to hire a part-time person for maintenance for all facilities.
So the additional labor is, what was
That
that?
would be if we need additional person to plow the roads.
In addition to that 13,000 that you're putting in?
no, that is, my understanding is, that is the 13,000 is for that part-time person
So,
that they think they might need in the winter and the summer to cover snow plowing and lawn mowing and other things.
so what's the additional labor?
Yeah.
No,
The building maintenance will be a maintenance person to do maintenance for
Just
all.
maintenance.
just
What Lendl
maintenance.
does, what Lendl does around.
Okay, I misunderstood her.
Okay. And mowing and.
Right, so that's the building. So the
That's-
additional labor then, could,
That's
will be-
an intermittent employee for snow plowing.
Snow plowing, okay.
And has that increased because we lost one full-time employee, the additional labor for snow plowing?
Okay.
Gone up from 2,700 to 8,600.
Right, yeah, because they're gonna do probably more hours than what the additional, labor was used in the past. And you can see we never used it in 2024.
and under service contracts, you have $5,000 for outsourcing snow removal, so.
That's the
That-
sidewalks.
That's the sidewalks for this current one.
Right, so, and that's not included in any of the
Mhm.
additional labor.
That is correct.
Why did we outservice the sidewalks? Why isn't the highway department still doing that?
The machine that we have is inoperable, and the amount of money that estimated to fix it was actually in excess of what we were able to get an independent contractor to actually do the work for us. And that piece of equipment went out for equipment bid, and the council will be looking at those bids at next week's meeting,
Oh.
because it's a 35-plus-year-old piece of property that even getting parts is like next to impossible. So it was time to basically retire it, and to get us through this winter,
That's
the
what I
plan
did.
was to do an independent contract.
Any questions, comments on highway department? If not, can we move on to the library department?
Mhm.
So it looks like the drivers here are health insurance, which we've heard about, office supplies, and programs, which is the covered garden patio shared with the rec department.
What is it?
Where is it putting it?
The anticipation is to put it right next to the outside play area next to the library. so that, rec and library can use it for outdoor programs in the summertime and the fall.
So the custodian there, again, is Wendell. So this maintenance person, is that who is the custodian?
No, we have a custodian, person who comes, how often?
She comes roughly 10 hours a month.
A month
cleans the
for
library.
just, general cleaning.
Someone separate than Wendell?
Yes.
Yes.
And also, we have a gentleman that comes and shovels for her, so.
Okay, we're ready to go to rec department, community center, okay. So the drivers of the building maintenance, which is a water heater installation and light replacement. Heating oil, electricity, and the rec department, a portion of the covered patio, 2 sets of bleachers, 2 soccer goals for the drivers on the side.
I thought that there was always an assistant that helped Wendell out.
What's that?
You have assistant wages, and it looks like it's new this year, but I thought he always had someone that, like a school aide or something.
He hasn't used anybody.
He hasn't.
No.
So we just budget for it in case he wants somebody?
Somebody like in the summertime, that may need to be, an assistant coach for him, or soccer time, or, yeah.
Any other questions, comments on rec? Code enforcement? There's a healthy jump in the salary, which impacts the other unit, impacts Social Security, Medicare, family medical leave, health insurance, workers' comp, retirement, all those are partially driven by the increase in wages for the code enforcement officer.
Who is the code enforcement officer?
Chief Steer.
And that's not a full-time position, right?
That's correct.
So that department's got, if my math's right, just under 39%.
So did you call around to find out other code enforcement officers' wages? Is that why that increased? What was it, why was?
That is in his contract.
That was, council approved that stipend when they hired him.
That way,
Yes.
so that's already said and done.
Yes.
So that's locked in for 2025.
Are contracts usually on year-to-year, or are they on to, extended year?
This is the only, usually the town manager, according to the charter, has a contract for this year. So the position in the chief, I believe, there was a contract, and that contract is for 2 years.
So really, the code enforcement expenses, it is what it is. Right. Ambulance department, you ready for that? Okay, that's only got a 4.3%.
Where it says paramedic wages, is that for people who fill in, like, okay, so So we have to be full-time, right?
Correct.
If we have to call Prescott because we don't have a second nurse,
If we don't have.
would that,
the manpower.
the main health and second nurse, would that come out of that?
No, that would come out of the service contract.
Which we budgeted, town's budgeted 8,000 for, last year we used 4,600.
Health insurance went down $10,000, so somebody didn't take it, or? Once they refuse the insurance here,
What's that?
once they refuse the insurance,
Mm.
can they come back and ask for?
Only on open enrollment, which is usually part of October, part of November, November to December. Mhm. Unless they can come on immediately if they have other insurance, and then they end up losing that,
Right, yeah.
then they can come on.
Okay, are we ready for the police department? Which has gone up 47%.
I don't think people would be happy with that
Yeah.
at all.
So you've seen an increase of 134,656 in salaries, which drives all of that other benefits that are tied to that.
The chief's wages, that's probably contract, that's all said and done.
So we have a chief in our small town that's making $100,000.
He gets paid.
Code enforcer.
Yes, right. He gets paid 80,000 for being chief, yes.
Mhm.
I've always been one to stand up for the police department because I really feel that we need a police department, but when an increase of almost 200,000 comes in,
47%.
you know, I can't support that. That's over a $600,000 police department, $500,000 police department for a
Right.
town of our size.
Yeah.
This is a budget that the chief, please.
You know, I've been fighting for the police department, but at this point, it's like, if this, you know, you think you can put it through, but I just don't think that the town of Ashland, who didn't even wanna hire a police department when we lost our chief, it was hard to talk to some of these people to say, we need a police department. If we have a school, if something happens up there, we need police as soon as possible, we need a police department. There's people that come in and out of there all the time, we don't know. But I cannot support a police department budget that's over $500,000 in a budget of, what is it, $1 million or whatever, but still.
I don't even think we'd
I
be
mean,
paying
for-
that if we hired on the sheriff like other towns are doing.
I mean, because you're paying that, plus you're paying the insurance, plus you're paying, he takes the car home, that's,
Mhm.
so we probably, I don't know if we pay for fuel. But, and I love, you know, the police that we have, I don't have anything against them. I'm sure that they work hard, I know they do. But
This
this
budget needs to go
budget
back.
needs to go back
Right.
before we
Definitely.
agree.
do anything.
I definitely believe that we need a police department. I think most townspeople know we need some police protection, but this town cannot afford this type of police protection. And you can't, you know, contracting with the sheriff for the state police is not an option. All you do is read the paper. They don't have, they're dead unless you have something unfortunate happen like in Portage yesterday. But other than that, we're not gonna, you can't contract with them, but we need some police, but we can't afford this much police. And then when you're cutting your highway department by one staff, you know, to plow our roads and everything, but we can't afford, you can't afford a gold plate. You can't afford, but we can't afford, until we get more businesses in town, can't afford this. So, yeah, I mean, the
But
easy,
there's not much that we can do if the
Well-
contract has already been approved for the.
For the-
wages.
Just
For
for
the-
the wage.
for
That's
the chief,
That's
just the
just-
chief.
So how
Yeah.
many police officers do we have?
We have
Four,
four,
For,
plus him.
plus the chief,
on payroll right now.
yes.
Okay, but none of those should be on a contract.
And we actually have two officers on contract, or two within,
For how long?
just 1 year.
Is there an option for either party to get out of the contract?
Yes,
Okay,
we can get 30 days notice if.
okay.
So
So I
the
mean-
two highest paid ones?
Well, they're probably the most qualified. See, the challenge is if you hire police and you don't pay them enough and they're qualified, and I had this experience in other municipalities, Prescott or Carroll will snatch them from you because they're trained, and they get more money, so you have to pay. So the question is, do you have two well-paid officers who are fully qualified? Can you know, or do you have four that two aren't qualified and two are, but you can't afford four of them? I mean, at the end of the day, I don't like to see people lose a job, but if the town can't afford it, the town can't afford it. And if it's gonna cause a mill rate increase just to support a department, which is necessary but not at this cost, I can't support that. So I think I heard a committee member say, send this back to the chief, send this back, and then set up a meeting between the chief and the budget committee to walk through what his sharpened pencil can bring us.
And so they're hourly, except the two that are on contract, the other two hourly, or are they all
They're all
hourly?
hourly except for the chief.
How many, what is a shift? How many hours?
It's an 8-hour shift.
So they work a 40-hour week?
Actually, it varies between 36 and 40.
And they get off, do they get overtime?
Over-
There was, I thought there was something
yeah,
somewhere where,
over 40.
After they work
Yeah.
40 hours.
I thought there was something written or told us, you don't have your papers, and I don't know
So
that.
the people that are contracted, the two officers that are contracted besides the chief, what does that contract state, like 40 hours
Doesn't
at
say
this much
any of that.
pay?
It just says full-time coverage based on personnel manual, and we define for the town of Ashland as a full-time employee is 32 hours as a full-time.
But the pay was a contract, like?
No, just their hourly rate.
Just that they, okay.
Yeah.
So what is,
So you want that to happen prior to next Tuesday?
as soon as you can
Okay.
schedule, how many days' notice legally for a public meeting? It's not 3,
Is it 3 days or 4?
3, I think it's 3.
I think 3 days, yeah.
So if you can give it to the chief, and then if everybody's calendars are pretty well open for the next week, 6 o'clock's a good time.
I'm not available Monday or Tuesday.
Next week. So today's Tuesday.
But you want it before Tuesday?
Well, we need to have, I would recommend either having it before the council meeting or have a joint council budget committee meeting just addressing the police department. Otherwise, you need to probably shut
Well,
the
the
council meeting down.
The council is not gonna be able to vote on this anyway, because we haven't recommended it to go further, right? So,
On the police department.
just the police.
Yeah,
No, but we can talk with them afterwards, right? Or before, about
Talk
the
to-
police department part?
right,
Council,
yeah.
is what you're saying?
I think the real deadline is what you need to get the warrant in the book for town meeting. Yeah,
The warrant.
right.
Yeah, they have to go into the town book, but we have until, probably like the 24th or 25th of February to get it in, so I can get them to the printers.
Okay,
It takes them about 7 to 10 days to print them, and I think the books have to be available about 7 days before the town
okay.
meeting.
So what I'm hearing is Kevin will get hold of the chief, tomorrow morning. Set up a couple dates and times, get hold of the committee, see what works, and we'll schedule as soon as we can with the chief on this portion of the budget.
So not the 10th, 11th.
Well, that's, I think,
Right.
Yeah.
So we need a board meeting.
Stay away from the 10th.
What time's your board meeting?
10th and 11th.
Our board meeting is,
Well, so,
finance.
are we trying to do this before the 11th?
If possible, yes.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
so just stay away from 10.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
So there's just gonna be 3 before what?
No.
For what
Well,
day are you looking?
Before the, let's see what, propose us some dates.
Right.
If you've got a conflict with another board meeting on a date, let's see if we can adjust this, so you, I know you like 2 board meetings on the date.
Yeah, we have school board meeting on Monday night.
Yeah, what time,
Starts
6,
at 5. We start at 5.
And what time would we normally get out?
6:30 or 7.
So could we schedule one at 7, worst case, schedule one at 7 at night?
Scenario, yeah.
Okay.
If we had to use the
I'll
10th.
mark some bed by then.
Yeah, so meet out of the
You
way.
didn't hear me. I said you're in bed by then.
No.
Okay.
Remember that.
Okay, so we can move, I think the manager has heard enough. He can kind of convey to the chief, and we'll see the chief, later. Okay, fire department. That's not,
There
Go
never
ahead.
was one.
Isn't that for overtime?
There was never a lieutenant salary.
Even though we,
Yeah. Lieutenant gets paid along with the.
basically that is up, committed to the.
so the fire department's gone up 35%, most of that personnel, workman's comp, is it gone up? Equipment purchases, maintenance, building maintenance.
So what, you know, what that, school.
So.
Yeah, that is a called backflow preventer, and the water district, has been, after the town has fixed this for over 2 years, what happens is the main water line, when the fire trucks, when they're doing their fills, what happens is brown water starts backing up into the public water system, and people are trying to pour a cup of water out of their faucet, and it's.
Already looks like coffee.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah.
So.
It takes about a day to get it back to
So they have to
normal.
put this whole unit on our main water line, and impacts the whole building, but it's in the fire department, so the fire department gets the bill.
Any other comments, questions on the fire department? Other expenses?
Yes, this, body part thing.
Mhm.
What is that?
That is, the council asked for a quote to replace the fence line that runs from the playground area all the way up to the south end of the park. If you've ever driven in through there, you'll know that it's a fence line, and there's 2 entryways to the dog park, so you've got, an area that you've gotta have a swing fence to be able to open it and close it, and that whole fence line, so the quote was just a little over $39,000, and since the price is only good there's a little bit of inflation, thinking that $40,500 probably covers the cost if we want to do that project until sometime next spring or something.
With the wire fence.
It's that wire fence, yeah, it's about a 4 or 5 foot tall.
Is there a requirement for that?
No, the council's thinking was 2 things that I'm aware of. One, it was, not very sightly, because it's the first thing you see when you come into town, and, The concern was also because of the number of children and young adults that are in there during the summer months, mostly, playing either on the swing area or doing something in the field. They felt that the fence probably wasn't secure enough if somebody was even just throwing a ball or frisbee and they went out and somebody didn't see them because they went through the fence line. But it was a combination of aesthetics and the safety of keeping everything that's happening inside the trotting park, at least protected by a fence that's upright, because there's several sections of the fence where the tree roots have come in and have kind of started knocking it over. And we've tried to do some minimal maintenance to try to keep it, somewhat standing, but the quote was, again, $39 and change to do it. It's not a must-do event for the council that I'm aware of, because they haven't indicated yet that they want to do it, but they wanted to quote, and we put it on in the budget so that it's there and everybody can see what it is.
Is there any grant money for that?
No, go ahead.
There's no grant money that we could apply for to whatever that park?
Can I just say something? Because this was started back when there was COVID money. That's where it was supposed to come out of, and it just didn't get,
Yes,
it didn't get.
all right. So there's not a liability issue?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. But obviously,
It could be
Yeah, well, it always, but, go ahead.
Folks get wrong, we don't
No,
know.
go ahead.
Folks get wrong.
that I don't know. All I know is most of the damage from what the highway crew told us is, they planted it so close to that tree line that all the roots are now, that's what's causing the havoc to the fence line itself. Again, this is a council item, we put it in.
We can recommend it coming out.
Right.
Well, I'm just wondering,
Yeah,
like,
no, no.
community services, so a fence or getting the rec stove kitchen area
Pavilion,
fixed?
yeah, right.
No, the kitchen
Oh.
area in our
The hood.
warming
Right.
center
Because it needs a vent.
and shelter,
Right.
yeah.
Did you
Like,
ever-
which would our townspeople rather see done? I don't know, but that would be a question I would.
Have you ever gotten quotes on that, to put a hood in that kitchen or
To do the hood vent, I don't believe so, and from what I can remember was discussed.
I thought you had.
Go ahead.
Because the vent, where the stove is on the inside of the building, not on an outside wall. I think that's what part of the issue, when they install the stove.
So can you move it to it someday?
Hmm?
Can you turn it on?
Is it the rec center we're talking
So-
about?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, okay. So the question is, the trotting park, does the budget committee feel that the $40,500 should be set aside for a fence for the trotting park this year? Or that the town should be pursuing grant money?
Well, they have these
If possible.
revitalization grants or whatever they are, and I just wondered if that would be something that could cover that fence, and I kind of agree with you, I mean, you're using the rec center as a warming shelter, and it's got the generator and the whole 9 yards, but they can't use the stove or anything to feed people, so people have to bring food in, right? Or use a microwave. So I think that if somebody would look to see if there's a revitalization grant for the park, maybe get your friends that way and use the money where it's gonna be, and I don't think it's gonna cost $40,000 to put a fence in.
We
No,
had
39,000.
You do
We
have
have
a
12,
quote,
yeah.
we got.
No, fence. She said,
No,
vent?
no, the vent.
Oh, the
Vent.
fence, oh, yeah.
We
Yeah,
have
the
the vent.
vent.
No, the
Okay,
vent,
we
no,
don't
the
have-
vent.
We
I
don't
thought it
have
was
a quote on the
between 16
vent.
and 20.
Yeah.
I thought it was between 16 and 20.
Yeah, we'd have to.
Closer there, we can put new ones, wouldn't they?
Either way, but
Was it,
the topic on the table right now is the fence for the trotting park. Let's try to
I
fence
recommend
this in.
that.
So
There.
is the committee recommending that come out of this year's budget?
No.
It's, or you leave it at, what's the committee's, either get a consensus or we can vote on,
Put the money somewhere else.
or just take it out, right now, just take it out.
Take it out.
We can't make that recommendation for it to go somewhere else.
No,
Who do we have to talk to about that? You make a motion to take it out.
let's,
You can't make a motion to put it somewhere else.
let's do one step at a time. Yeah.
So, we go into that.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I guess when we look at that would be under the rec center's budget, we could go back and look at that.
Would it be if it was, wouldn't it,
Go ahead.
wouldn't it be under community services, right, what we're taking it out of? The
There's not a line though,
Well,
under
you can
community.
take one, 'cause we put one in for trolley.
Yeah, I know, but I think from a budget perspective, I'd rather see it put into the rec center budget, like you would, the hot pockets. I would
Either
rather
way,
see it,
yeah.
but right now, just so we can, kind of stay on track a little bit.
Because it will be replacement in the rec center.
Right. So the consensus is the budget committee recommends that $40,500 be taken out of the budget for the trotting park maintenance. Okay.
What are the contract services?
That is, that was from last year.
Shredding,
Pardon me?
shredding,
Shredding,
how
yeah.
much is that?
That's about $100.
Employee travel
$100.
reimbursements
Month?
Yeah, pardon me?
$100 a month or?
Yeah.
per month?
Roughly. And if employees have to travel for training,
How much is for that?
we just kind of just kept the figure about the same as what it was last year for the contracts. So you have I gave you a list of those last year. I'd have to go back and review that and send it out to you.
Payroll contract, has that gone out?
Payroll,
I know that
nope,
was $31.20.
nope, that has stayed the same.
Subscriptions, I think you had like $100.
Right.
Tax billing contract, has that gone up?
That might come down because we have a new assessor. I have spoken to him. What that does is the tax bill's going out, they've always outsourced it. But I think we might be able to do it in-house, but we would still have to pay for some paper and for postage.
Is that $1,000 you had down there?
Yeah, so we might be able to reduce that though, but not a lot.
Website contract, is that any change on that?
No. It's still the same.
And then you had added another one for retirement and
That's in case somebody
Christmas
retires,
party.
Christmas parties, something like that.
left it at 1,000? So we went way over last year.
Because of the advertising. And I think it was increased from 10,000 to 11, where's that contract? Just in case that we have to do a few more ads.
Any other questions, comments on other expenses?
Audit went up a lot. The auditor went up a lot.
Yes, in, I think what month, we lost our auditor, we lost him in July. So we had to go to somebody that's in Portland, with very limited CPA. So we ended up having to pay him a retainer, and then he will bill us for the audit. So it's not a set fee, like Phelps gave us, a set fee, but it's that.
Any other questions, comments on other expenses?
So the budgets that you got, these are what each department has brought to you? Is it-
We sit down and went through line by line, split down.
The next page is just a summary. We have, estimated income sheet, the one sheet we have not gone over yet. If you're ready for that.
Bring it.
Okay. Should be. The color coded one.
Oh, no. Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
I thought you meant they're that one.
Yeah, this one. So they're projecting an increase in property taxes of $171,000, almost $172,000. A decrease in town-owned property sales and, forestry tax. Increase in some of the subsidies. Increase in ambulance collections, oh, go ahead. Tracy.
So the town-owned property sales, you had budgeted 45,000 last year, but this year we're not doing, do we not have any property that we can sell?
We didn't sell any last year because there was a new rule that came out in July, I believe it was last year, that any properties that are owned by the town now has to go through a realtor. And if the town says that the property, wanna sell it for 20,000, but the previous owner wants it for 40, it has to go out for 40. If the previous owners are heirs, then they have to go back to the heirs, and they have to make the decision.
But that's tax-acquired property,
Right.
which is different than town-owned property. Town-owned
But
property, be like the lots out on Wrightfield Road that the town owns and has sold in past years. That would be town-owned.
But I was also told that any property that the town owns has been acquired by tax-acquired
Okay.
land. The
Even
town
though
never
you-
went out and bought land.
Even though it was 20 years ago.
Even though it was 30, 40,
Yeah.
50 years ago, they have to go back and do all this research.
And the state hasn't made a decision on what can and can't be done.
Exactly.
Right.
So at this time, I believe the council has put a hold, I'm assuming, is what I got told, on selling any property
Okay.
until the federal, and this is a federal law, this is not state.
Well, it was a Supreme Court decision.
Supreme Court
Or a
decision.
federal court decision,
That is correct.
and may still go through the process of determining what we can and can't do, okay?
Correct.
I just have one question, but it's going back.
That's
And I
fine.
was gonna bring it up and I just forgot about it, but the paid medical family leave that we
Yeah.
have to take out now,
Mhm.
are you taking it out of your employees
Yes.
too? So each one paying 1% or?
0.5%.
0.5% each?
And the town pays the rest.
That was,
You can't pay more than that.
that was a $5,800 additional
Yeah.
expense across all of it.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were picking it up though, or
The town.
if
At
the town
1%.
was picking it up.
No, and the last thing that I have read on that, even though the town is at 1%, the 0.5% becomes income to the employees.
Okay, we won't go there. Okay. Any other comments, questions on the estimated income?
Town forestry tax reducing, that went down, so we don't have as much wood or whatever to cut, is that what that
We
is?
got an estimate that they're stating for 2025, it's like around 6,000. Mhm.
You're anticipating an increase in homestead exemption for the state.
Yes, because there were some people that didn't get it last year because they had to be here a whole year, so.
The revenue sharing is going up, projected 170,000.
Yeah, when we did a, projected,
Right.
spreadsheet for that.
So the cemetery, in '24, we budgeted $1,200, actual was $300, and we're still budgeting, we think we'll get $1,200 income from cemetery this year.
Who's getting older?
We're living longer, or at least I was.
Right here.
Yeah, under state revenue. Is that actual state revenue? Or cemetery?
That is for them to buy the plot.
Okay, it's not really state revenue.
No,
Okay.
no, that's the individual to buy the plot.
Probably should be put under government, maybe.
To be put in the
Under government, and not state government, not state revenue, because you don't get that from the state.
Um,
Any other, yes, Tracy?
So subsidy for other towns, last year we had a breakdown of what each community was gonna pay for whatever. But is that only, so I see that like the library, recreation, are there a lot of, like, in the ambulance, everything else is pulled out, like, too?
Mhm.
For the subsidy for fire. 2,000 is what town? I thought we were like mutual.
No, Mazarta's got a new fire truck. That's
Oh,
by far not-
it's less, you mean?
Yeah, it's less.
I don't know.
So this is only
It went
for
down
Massaga, I mean,
6,000.
Garfield,
Oh, yeah.
does that?
Yes.
What about Nashville? Who does Nashville?
I think they might have paid, but just very small what they paid.
Anything else? And then they also included, did you include the warrants, which are just a reiteration of, you have a copy of the warrant?
But the warrant's not gonna matter if you've got the police department. in it.
Right, I know,
Yeah.
but I mean, something just for you to look at between now and when we meet again, you know,
Mhm.
can you take that?
Yeah, this is the.
This is
Yeah.
homework,
Current copy.
you haven't,
So-
yeah, no, this is
so-
Oh,
updated,
this is,
updated,
These are new
yeah,
updated
yeah,
ones.
they,
what was,
We found some
They-
typos on that one.
yeah,
Mm.
they use my math, there you go. That'd be too easy. You don't have to find the update, just throw the old one away, trust me. Okay, so,
So this one,
the old one, yeah, it doesn't have
The
update
one you
on it.
brought,
If it doesn't say update, throw it
throw it
out.
away.
I'm all studied too.
I know.
I bet you.
Right answer's wrong test. It's the story of my life. Okay, I think that covers, we've gone through the budget. The one takeaway is the manager is going to get the chief to schedule a meeting with the chief and the budget committee to go over the police department budget. And then we we're recommending taking out the 40,500 for the trotting part. Was there anything else? Okay, so the recommendation of the council, the budget committee recommendation is basically to approve everything but the police department at this time, and to not approve the trotting part at 40,500. Okay, so now we'll go to council. So, we'll let council chew on that. And if council doesn't agree, then we can meet with them and see if we come to some agreement or not. Does that sound fair? Okay, any other comments, questions before we adjourn? Kevin will get hold of everybody tomorrow, see what dates and times are available. If not,
Is there a preference on an evening time for everyone?
I think 6 is fine, except for the 11th, the 10th. The 10th has to be 7 or later.
Anybody, concerned if the only night that works is a Friday night versus?
I got nothing going on Friday night, man.
I probably could make it on the 11th if it was a later time.
Well, the 11th is the regular council meeting.
Oh, yeah, so it would have to be before that.
Yeah.
So it's either one night, either Friday night or Monday night, really, are two members.
But I don't know, do we have the agenda out in time for the?
Yeah, I mean,
We
you
could do
could-
Friday.
You can put the agenda out first thing in the morning,
Right,
and that's easy. So is everybody available 6 o'clock Friday?
Yep.
Okay,
We'll shoot for that.
thank you. Okay, Kevin, any questions before we adjourn? Okay. We adjourn. Thank you. Thank you, folks.
Thank you for changing around.